Vegetables are healthy carbs, but if you're on a low-carb diet, you'll get better results if you pick non-starchy vegetables over starchy ones. In this video, I explain how to tell the difference. Hi, I'm Dr. Becky from drbeckyfitness.com. I'm a college instructor of the science of nutrition. I have here in front of me two groups of vegetables. This group is comprised of non-starchy vegetables, and this group contains starchy ones. Starch is a term that describes the carbohydrate molecule. If something is a starchy food, then it contains a long chain of sugar molecules bonded together. So starchy vegetables contain more carbohydrates than their non-starchy counterparts. And they also tend to be higher on the glycemic index, which means that they cause more of a spike in your blood sugar and insulin levels. And that is not what you want when you're on a low-carb diet for weight loss. So you're better off avoiding or limiting starchy vegetables. The challenge is that there are obviously many different vegetables, so how do you tell which is which? Well, some of it comes down to memorization, but there are some tricks that you can use to tell the difference. And I will say that these tricks are not hard and fast rules, but they will help guide you in the right direction. So with that said, one thing that you can look at is the density of the vegetables. If we pick up a starchy vegetable, we notice that it is very dense and heavy. For instance, a potato and a rutabaga, or a swede as it is referred to outside of the US, they're like rocks when they are raw. And it's the same with other root vegetables like parsnips, right? They're solid, hardy root vegetables. Starchy vegetables are so dense that they feel like, it just feels like you could use them in a baseball game if you really wanted to. Now, non-starchy vegetables, on the other hand, tend to be light, airy, and watery. So leafy greens, collard greens, cabbage, right? They're very light. Bell peppers are hollow in the middle, making them very light. So that is a clue that they are non-starchy in nature. Now, of course, there's some exceptions to the density rule, and you could argue that cucumbers, eggplant, zucchinis, onions, have some heft to them, but that heft is mostly due to their high water content. So even though they are heavier, they're still considered non-starchy vegetables. Now, there are a couple of vegetables worth singling out here, and those would be carrots and beets, or beetroots. Carrots and beets are very dense, yet they are kind of on the fence between starchy vegetables and non-starchy vegetables. They're not the starchiest of vegetables, but they are relatively high on the glycemic index, which means that they're not a terrible choice, but they're certainly not your best choice when you're on a low-carb diet. So with that, we can look at some other factors to help us look at the difference between starchy and non-starchy vegetables. One of those factors is the time of year the vegetables are harvested. Fall vegetables tend to be higher in starch, and this might be one of those ancestral factors. Higher starch foods helped our ancestors pack on pounds so they could survive the winter months when food was scarce. So fall vegetables like pumpkin and winter squashes like butternut or acorn squash are starchy vegetables. So again, that's not a hard, fast rule, but if the vegetable tends to have a relatively short maturation period, like you're outside walking to your garden all summer long and harvesting that vegetable, it's probably more of a non-starchy vegetable. And that would hold true when we look at examples like our lettuces, our cucumbers, zucchinis, peppers. We could throw tomatoes in that mix as well. And one more little trick, if you haven't quite got the hang of distinguishing between starchy and non-starchy vegetables, is to think about when you eat them. If you live here in the United States and celebrate Thanksgiving, we do so with a big Thanksgiving meal. If there are vegetables on the table, they are more likely to be our starchy ones, right? Our sweet potatoes, corn, peas, butternut, squash. If we have dessert, we have pumpkin pie. Non-starchy vegetables, on the other hand, they don't make it into too many of our large celebratory meals, but they go great on a salad. So kale, spinach, broccoli, artichoke hearts, celery, onions. These add fiber and flavor to salads, but not a lot of carbohydrates. And that's why a salad a day is a great way to get your weight loss started. In fact, it is the one of my 0, 1, 2, 3 strategy. If you haven't picked up that strategy yet, I think it will be beneficial to you. I will leave some links here on the video or down in my description area. It's perfectly free, but it is a great way for you to learn how to get non-starchy vegetables into your daily diet and get rid of the biggest diet destroyer, which is sugar. So grab a copy of that 0123 strategy to get yourself started. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please subscribe, and I will be back soon with another video to help you reach your goal. Thanks.